Again, happy Mother's Day. Glad that you're here. You know, the Bible is interesting because there's not really any stories about moms, although moms are mentioned throughout Scripture. There's not anything. Proverbs talks about moms, Psalms does as well, and other Scripture, but there's nothing really. Like, there's not a Bible story about moms. I mean, what do you know that you think about the mother of the Bible is who? Everybody says Mary, the mother of Jesus. And there's not much that we know about her. We know about the birth of Jesus and about how she was a virgin when she became pregnant, and that, raising Jesus. You ever think about that? Raising the Son of God who became the Son of Man. That just blows my mind that, how do you raise the Messiah? And there's the story of when they went from Nazareth to Jerusalem for Passover when he was a teenager, and then they traveled back. It was like a 2 or 3 day journey back home, and 2 days into the travel back home, they're like, "Where's our son?" They didn't know where Jesus was. Today, there would be, alerts on everybody's phone and everything else going out, but back then, they traveled in masses, and so they probably thought that Jesus was with a friend or family or something like that. And they traveled back for 2 days and found him sitting in the temple hanging out with the Pharisees, and almost like teaching the Pharisees at 12 years old. And really, that's all we know. Mary was a bad mother. Right? Isn't that what we have? Left her kid. You ever left your kid before? You ever lost your kid before? Just the freak out moment that goes on there. I can't imagine 2 days of traveling back, but yeah. So that's it. That's all we have in the Bible. So I really don't have a Bible story to tell you this morning. But I go back to like 3 weeks ago. I always sit on the couch with Jeannie in the mornings after we get set up and stuff in here, and just kind of hang out with her. And she said to me, and it like hit me hard. She's like, our community is getting older. I'm like, come on. Like, I know the statistic. The average age of the church body, the community, is within 5 years of the pastor's age. I'm 60. So the average age is probably somewhere between 55 and 65. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't run the records on that, but the day that she said that, I walked from over there to down there, and sitting over in this area right here was a group of our young adults. And I'm like, it's not that old. It's not that old. And I just sat there and watched those young adults as they hung out together, and I thought, I want to talk to them. So I had them over to my house week before last, had them for dinner and everything, and we just sat around and talked and just chilled out. And I asked them if they would come up here today and talk with us together. So I'm going to ask those that were in that group to come up here and sit down real quick. I'll let them. We haven't talked since the week and a half before last, so. There's a bunch that are not here. I know Casey and Kevin McLean graduated this weekend, so the Tyners are down. Kelly's not here. Is there really just 5 of you? Exact number of chairs. We really had no idea who was coming. Go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick and tell us who you are and how you got connected with this community.
I'm Corey Kennedy. I got connected. I've been coming here since the beginning. My parents brought me here. That's my dad.
I'm Caitlin Creselius, and I got connected when I was a junior in high school. Kelly Tyner invited me to come here because I was wanting to leave the church that I was at. So stuck around, found a husband.
I'm that husband. My name's Eric Creselius, and I've been coming here since like junior high-ish.
Which was what year? What year did you graduate high school?
December of 2014.
He graduated early. He wanted you to know. So around 2009, 2010, somewhere around there, yeah.
My name is Kyle Seegers, and I got connected to Lebanon through summer camp. I was a lifeguard at Camp Zion, and the community is just different, and I grew up wanting a community like that. And then I met this amazing woman here, and the rest was history. I was smitten, so I'm here now.
I'm Maddie Seegers, and I'm here because my parents brought me here. I'm part of the Hayward family.
And how long have you been here?
10? So, wow,
Since Liam was born?
like 15.
Holy
16
cow.
years.
That's crazy. Tell me about the extent of your community, because you guys, how did the small group start? You're in a small group. How did it start, and what's the extent of it right now?
The small group started, I would say, once I graduated college. So that would have been 2016, 7 years ago. It started with Monday night dinners it was like Caitlin Tyner and Jenna Pinkston, now Jenna Craker. They started Monday night dinners around that time. And then that just got the ball rolling. We figured that it was a great community. It was the after college kind of feels. We needed a group of people to hang out with our age. Now we're reaching our late 20s, early 30s. So it's been going on for a while. But it just started around food, talking about Jesus, and that's still what it is right now. It's a time for us to come together. It's not a super scheduled thing, but we know that we're going to be able to hang out in a good community that has like-minded people and be able to support each other and challenge each other in a healthy way too.
Who's not here today that's in your small group?
Like any small group, if any of you have been in a small group that's been going on for 7 years, it's looked different throughout those 7 years. You know, you got people that come in and then move away. Some of the active people in it right now, though, Kelly Tyner's kind of been our fearless leader in the past year or two here, and then Caitlin Tyner, the Mays, Jessica Reeder, the Pruitts, the Yohos, yeah, sorry. No. Let me fix that. Haven't seen you there. Who else? And then us.
Yeah, it's good. You don't have to answer all the questions. You can pass it around. I want to know what the most important aspect. What'd you say?
I tried.
Caitlin, this question's for you. What is the most important aspect of your small group? And you guys may have different answers. It may mean something different to each one of you, but go ahead, Caitlin.
To me, the most important aspect is just the community and hanging out. Like Corey said, we're not super scripted, or like right now we don't have a specific like study or something that we're doing. There's been phases when we have had something that we're focused on week to week. Then for a while we kind of joked that some weeks were like a Bible study and some weeks were like life group, just with like us hanging out. And so yeah, that's like the most important thing, at least to me, is that we have people that we're like texting throughout the week and we're hanging out on Thursdays, but at other points too.
Kyle, you have an answer for that?
Yeah, it's a huge encouragement to be a part of a group that we have a day of the week where, we are intentionally getting together. But I know that if there's anything that's needed or to be prayed about, that I can reach out to them. We get together at other points in the week, and it's helpful to know that we're not alone. We were living pretty far away from Fishers and Noblesville area, and so we didn't have that community when we first got married. And so when we moved back here, it was really important to us that we find something to put our roots into, and we now have that, and the encouragement and the growth that we felt through that has just been immense.
How much of an influence was this group to you moving back to the area?
Wow. Pretty big. We knew that there were younger people here, and that was a part of why we wanted to be around here, but we didn't know the extent to which we would be connected to everybody, which has been so much more than what we had thought it would be.
Go ahead, May, take the mic.
I was just going to say, we were still coming back here every Sunday, even though we lived an hour away, because we just knew there was something that was unique to this community, and we really, really craved it and couldn't find it anywhere else. So that definitely was a huge pull for moving back here.
Yeah. Do you have any personal stories how the group has impacted you all?
Yeah, I can off the top of my head think of two, but I'll just give one that's really personal. I just started working with Charles Schwab in the last 2 years, and thanks to Corey, he helped me get that job. But I was really struggling in it, and I would say that in the last year, I went through a period where I realized I think I had depression. And it was hard for me to articulate it at first, but through Thursday nights, we would, be asking what we could pray about, and even when I wasn't bringing forward how much I was struggling with a job that I wasn't sure was a good fit for me, that was pushing down on my mental capacity to just be happy outside of the work, they were there to encourage. Kelly was a huge encouragement in terms of making me realize that it doesn't have to be the fix. And I think that was a part of finding my place in my role was her encouragement that maybe this isn't the job that you're going to be ending up in, and that's a good thing. And then when I realized that, then I was able to have fun in the work that I'm doing now, or a part of it. So, but yeah, it was thanks to that encouragement that I think I came out of that depression.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard you say that you were in a season of depression.
Yeah.
That me personally, I've heard that. How did you discover that? Did that come to fruition for you?
Maddie and I were driving to small group, and I was probably at a really low point in that week, and I said, what? Do you think that I'm depressed? I said that to Maddie. And there was a moment where we both kind of were quiet for a little bit, and she said, yeah, I think that there are periods of it. And at that moment, that was the first time I'd said it out loud. But when I said that out loud, I think the power got taken out from it. I put a word to what I was experiencing, and there are plenty of tools at our disposal and community to bring you out of something like that. And when I could identify it, I could fight against it. I could defend myself against it.
How long did it take for you to express that to this group of people?
Varying degrees. Eric and I work out together on Tuesdays, and so he was a huge encouragement to me early on in processing that I was depressed. But then I think in the small group, it was later. And I don't know that I've articulated that much that I was depressed, because it's a vulnerable thing to say.
Sure.
But I think I made it pretty clear that I was having a really hard time with happiness, with finding my place. So.
Go ahead, Eric.
I think there's something like when you're with people consistently in a group, you can tell when people are not well. And that's just part of having a relationship and building a relationship. It's not the one time you see them each week, but you're investing into them. You're seeing them multiple times each week, and you can see when they're not feeling well and they're struggling. So then if you're open to it, then you can kind of like dive in a little bit deeper and be like, hey man, what's actually going on? What's going on in your world? And let's talk about it. And that's kind of what I did on a Tuesday when we were doing some wall sits.
Tell us about your workout.
We're team wall sit. We like to do 4-minute wall sits with like 50 pounds. We like to do some hellacious workouts, but it's enjoyable. I like pushing ourselves mentally so we can push ourselves physically later in life.
And who's we?
I've had 5 people in my basement at once working out. A lot of times it's me, Caitlin, Kyle, Kelly, and then sometimes other people as well that are not part of the group.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say about. I forget. Any other personal stories? I know we focus on Kyle here for a second, but any other personal impact stories that has happened? Caitlin's looking at the mic.
No, I was looking at Eric.
Something that Kelly Tyner does really well is, so I'm gluten-free and have some other allergies, and she does a really great job of providing food, as it started on Monday nights as around food. She does a good job of continuing to provide gluten-free snacks, and it's something really kind that she does that I really appreciate.
Like, to the point that Kelly asked the other week what dessert like the boys would like. Like, she was gonna make something and she was like, do you have any ideas? And offhandedly, Eric said ice cream bars, which he can't have normal ones because they have gluten in it. And Kelly made homemade gluten-free like wafer pieces and bought then ice cream to make homemade ice cream bars. Just because on a whim, Eric said that. And then Kyle said banana pudding. Kelly doesn't really like bananas, and she also, in that same setting, made banana pudding and brought both those, just because these two randomly said those two things.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys sitting out here are hearing what is happening here, but there's two things that I'm sitting here going, oh man, they figured this thing out. One is that they care about each other, and it's not about themselves, but it's about the others in the group. This is all Jesus did when he came here. It was like it was, as Matt was saying, he didn't come here to fulfill himself, although he did, but he came here for us, and that is the model that he portrayed, which is what they're sitting here saying that they're doing in the group. And the other thing that strikes me is when Eric was talking about knowing each other so well. In the 90s, there was this group called Promise Keepers where men got together and they would have small group meetings and they would hold each other accountable, like asking, did you have any bad thoughts this week? And they sit there and lie to each other. But the whole idea of accountability is to know each other so well that you don't have to ask stupid questions, that you're so involved in the lives of each other that you know when the others are hurting. And you can have those conversations. Those are two aspects that I'm hearing from you guys that are very cool. When I think about Jeannie saying we're getting older, I look at you guys and I go, there's great hope in this group right here. I mean, I'm not going to be around forever. I get that, but I'm looking at how the Lord is raising you guys up, and they're not reproducing yet, but they have been reproduced, and that's because they have fathers and mothers. I'm going to switch gears here real quick and ask you to talk about your mothers. And I think one of the questions I asked Kelly Tyner at the house was, I know your dad has taught you a lot, teaches a lot of people a lot, but what has your mom taught you? And I think that's the question that I want to ask you guys up here. What has your mom taught you? They all turn their head to Corey.
My mom, Michelle, I think from a young age, I've kind of connected with her on this level, and I would say one thing that she's taught me how to portray a lot just from watching her do it, and then also just guiding me, but is to be compassionate and sensitive, and then also watching out, being mindful of other people's emotions and where they're at, kind of just being observant. I think that goes back to what Eric was saying too, is, you know, we can look at each other in our group and we can tell, you know, if something's going on with someone, you know, like I can see if something's going on with Kyle or if he's had a hard week or something like that, and, you know when to bring that up and talk about it. But just being sensitive towards emotions are a weird thing, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but they're also a real thing, you know, and it's just being mindful for people and not always focusing on yourself, even though that's an easy thing to do and it's a good thing to do, but also focusing on the people around you.
Something my mom taught me was mental resilience and just resilience in life. Growing up, I struggled in school a little, and she encouraged me to be strong and know that sometimes I might have just learned a little different, and I am who I am today, and I'm successful because of that mindset that she taught me of resilience. And, you know, that's applied to life, whether that's outside of the school system, whether that's in a sporting aspect, being resilient on the field. But that's something that's kind of unique. I feel like that my mom did a great job. She was busy with 3 other kids running around all the time, and that's something that I have a great appreciation for.
The word that comes to my mind when I think of my mom is just love and loving. There were 6 of us in the house, and my mom always so gracefully just took care of our every need and knew every single one of us. We're all very different, and she could tell you everything about each one of us and what we like and what we don't, and what we're afraid of and what we want to be when we grow up. And she just always knew us so well and loved us really intentionally. Never have I ever questioned how much my mom loved each one of us. And being the oldest, I feel like I had a special privilege of seeing how she loved each of us individually. And we always joke, you know, oh, you're the favorite, whatever. But we know that's not true, because she just knows us well, and she loves each of us in a different way. And I firmly believe one of the reasons why I wanted to be a teacher so much when I grew up is because of my mom and how I saw her take care of us, and I really, really wanted to be so nurturing and loving. So I'm thankful for that.
So my mom taught me to worship. I was strongly encouraged to pick up a musical instrument when I was younger. But through that, my mom and I did worship together in the churches that we were a part of. But it wasn't just specifically those moments that really stick out to me, but it's the moments at home when we were playing worship songs together that I truly got to see the joy that truly fills a person when they worship behind closed doors in their own home. And I think that creates a relationship with God that is just so beautiful, and I'm thankful that my mom instilled that in me.
I'm going to tear up. This past week, actually, we celebrated 5 years since my mom had a sudden cardiac event. It was dead for actually 30 minutes. And so my mom growing up, like, taught us that love shows up. She was just always there, present for everything. And like some people would, I don't know, like say like, why is she choosing to do like all of that stuff for you guys? Like you guys could have done it, or she didn't have to go the extra mile. But after like the past 5 years, I've also gotten to see her be a great, we call her Nana, to our nephews, and that she even shows up, like love shows up for them, and just how great of a Nana she is too. I mean, to the point that a couple weeks ago, we all rallied together to grab my nephew from Texas and bring him back up so that my sister could have her second child without having to think of him. And just like, I don't know, who pulls that off to go all the way down to Texas and grab a kid and then bring him back and be willing to have a child when you're an empty nester in your house. So she taught me that love shows up.
And change the subject again. We're getting ready to go to camp here next month, and we're taking over 60 people with us to camp. You guys were part of the camp experience. I want you to think back, how many high school friends do you have from school that you like spend time with versus this? And if you can say one thing to our students to encourage our students to talk about the hope that you guys have.
I'd say there are two people I'm still in contact with from high school. But the people that I met through Leavener are still very present in my life, and I'm really thankful for that. If I had to give just one word, it would be that there is something unique about what we learn here, and there is a security. I remember talking about that at our dinner. I just have so many precious friends, like at work, for example. I adore them. They're so kind. They're so loving, but they are still seeking. And it's really interesting. We'll go out to dinner, and for some reason, every time church comes up, and they want to go to church, but they don't really want to go to church, but they'll go there once they have kids. And we've talked about, why, and it's because they are craving a relationship with the Lord, but they're not craving church. And it's really hard to find that balance, but we've been blessed to have that here, that it's about relationship and it's not about church, and it feels good to show up. And so to be here in this community and growing in that is such a blessing, and it's unique. But they see the security and the hope that you have just walking in joy, and not feeling like someday I'll get there, but I'm here now and I can be present. It's a great feeling.
I am friends with two people that I went to high school with. One, we actually didn't go to the same high school, but we've been friends since we were young. And the second one is Kelly Tyner, so she kind of overlaps. We went to school together.
Somebody take care of that out there, Big John. Just a little promo there. Just
Yeah.
It's what we have to do to sit in here for free. So
Yeah. It's our little ad in our podcast that we're making right now. My thing that I think I would say to students is just really focus on like identity is just that big thing. I think that's my earliest memory of like switching churches is really that switch of focus. I was having some personal things going on with my health too that was like in high school affecting my identity, which was not placed in the Lord at the time. Kind of actually what Dale was saying this morning, but just like as, I don't know, a school counselor at our school and just seeing like the kids where they're placing their identity, I think it's just really special that those of us who go here and who understand it in other places, that they can be secure in things that aren't going on like around them.
I don't talk to anyone from high school, other than the people that are in Lebanon. I grew up with Kelly and Corey, Madison, Yoho, and Brandon, and they're all part of the group, and it's been wonderful to continue to build those relationships and just be able to hang out with them every week. One thing I would encourage the younger kids is to realize that you have the same spirit that rose Jesus from the dead. And we are not humans having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And to think about that and process what that really means is something I would encourage you guys to do.
Kind of in the same vein, I don't speak to many people from high school. I did 1 year of high school in America, and I speak to 3 people from that high school still. But in terms of something I'd want the kids to take away to camp with them, I really want to encourage them to lean in, whatever that looks like for them. There is a hesitance sometimes when it comes to spiritual matters. And I have found myself afraid sometimes to lean in. But the vulnerability that comes with surrendering and leaning into the Spirit, leaning into the community, there is so much growth, there is so much truth to be found in that. So.
I mean, these are the people that I hung out with in high school. I'm not just talking about the people on the stage, but the people in this room. And we may not like hang out today, but or even like talk on a regular basis. But when I look out, it's just kind of crazy. I was sitting back there, and I look at Hernandez Row, and I've known these kids since they were young, and Michelle used to tutor me in Spanish, and I would hang out with these kids. They probably don't even remember because they were so young, and they would, I never watched the Brady Bunch, but they would watch the Brady Bunch in their basement. I'd watch it with them after studying Spanish, and you got, just people that I've known since I was young. Miss Hannah Speckman, we got Chase back there, Michaela, just random people in this room, and I may not talk to them, but I just know them, and I've known them forever, and that's just special to me, is just to be able to look at them and see them grow up, and I see where they're at now, and that's cool. I just appreciate that. I don't know if I answered your question. I got distracted, and that's where my mind's at.
What distracted you? Seeing all
Their
the people?
answers, seeing all the people.
Rob Bell's back there, isn't he? Is he back there?
He used to make me do push-ups when I was studying for the SATs.
Yeah, he tutored him in his SATs, flashcards, and everything else. So I'm thankful for you. Jeannie, there's great hope in this group. There's great hope in the youthfulness of this group. And to be able to take the students to camp and to hang out with them. I'll tell you right now that we're going and we're studying. The theme is Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 through 12. That's the focus that's going to be at camp this summer. So you can already go and read ahead. It's fair game to read ahead and read your Bibles. But that's the focus. So I'll say that to our teenagers. Look and see what, you could probably ask the people in this room. Most of them hang out with their church friends more than they do their high school friends. To me, I graduated in 1982, and my youth group friends are still around. We still connect and hang out together and meet together. They're important. The other thing I say to you is this, is like, for those of you that are in this room, connecting in a small group is important. There's plenty of small groups that are meeting on a weekly basis around here, and they're all pretty much open. If you want what these adults here right have, talk to me. I will get you into a small group. There's men's group, there's women's groups, there's co-ed groups, there's mixed group, there's all sorts of groups. Not all of them are centered around food, but that is kind of a key issue. They had more show up to my house for this meeting than they did here on Sunday morning because I was feeding them, so we had a great time. But get plugged into a community because they help you meet your needs, and it gives you the opportunity to meet other people's needs. That's the biggest thing. So again, thank you for your hearts, for what you guys are doing and sharing with us this morning and being very personal about it. I greatly appreciate that. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. Next Sunday, we're going to be right back here. Again, I don't know what I'm doing next Sunday, but just be here.